The Insta360 Go3. What exactly is this camera good for? We've seen tons of videos about how you can get it into small spaces and get these odd shots because the camera is really small. But beyond small spaces, what else can you do with this camera? Odd angles that just aren't possible with any other camera. That's gonna work. I feel good about this. And of course, point of view shots. And that's where this camera really shines. Because of the magnetic mounting system that Insta360's come up with, and because of the size of the camera, it makes it really easy to move it between different mounts. You have the chest mount that you can simply snap it to magnetically under your shirt, and the camera sits there, you don't even notice it. And then you can easily put it in the hat mount. And again, it's so small and so lightweight that you really don't notice it, and you get a really nice point of view. But they also have this sticky mount that will stick on literally any flat surface. I even tried it on my drone. And while all these mounts are magnetic, they also clip in really tightly, so you don't really have to worry about this camera accidentally falling off if you hit something very hard and jarring. So we know this camera can be used for odd shots in very small spaces. We know that it can be used for interesting shots and behind the scenes shots. And we know that it works great as a POV camera. But it doesn't really compete with the GoPro or the Action 4 in resolution because it's limited to 2.7K, or can it? To test this, we're going to take this out to a glacier on a helicopter and do some serious ice climbing. Even though the camera is limited to 2.7K, I found that it actually still captures some really nice imagery, and it does an incredible job stabilizing the shots just in the straight up normal video mode where you don't have to work with it in post. But if you want to get really amazing shots and you want to be able to have the most control over stabilization, then you shoot in free frame mode, which captures the entire sensor and then allows you to reframe it and stabilize it in post using Insta360's Studio, either on desktop or in the app. Now, while the Insta360 camera by itself is waterproof up to 5 meters, The case itself is not. So it is splash resistant, but you do need to be careful how wet it gets. That being said, I did test it pretty hard and the case got pretty wet. Is this the perfect action camera? No, it's not. But it is a very useful camera if you want a really small, inconspicuous camera that can give you shots like really no other camera can, and if you want something that's super quick and super easy to use. That being said, there are a few downsides. The biggest downside to me is the limited frame rates and resolution. While it's perfectly usable and for social media, I would say it's absolutely fine. You'd have no issues. Most social media is posted at 1080 or 720 even. But if you want to shoot more than that, you're either going to want to run it through a program like Topaz Video AI or maybe look at a different action camera. The other downside that I ran into is the limited internal battery life. Because this unit has a built-in internal battery, and while it does have great battery life for the size and it handled the ice-cold frigid waters of a glacier no problem, even with this battery case, it still only has so much battery life. So I did find that I had to parse myself out and pace myself as to what I was filming throughout the entire day. That being said, I did have it and I was able to make it last the entire day. And the only other downside that I've run into is that you're limited to whatever internal storage that you get. This is the 64 gigabyte one. I never had an issue. I think the most I shot for the entire day was about 25 or 26 gigabytes, which is not bad because I shot a fair amount, but you are limited to whatever space you get. But they do offer 32, 64, or 128 versions. So if you're gonna shoot a lot on this, then I recommend you get the largest size you can get. One of my biggest struggles with the Insta360 Go3 was that you had to use your phone when you were using the camera to get any sort of preview and make sure you were getting your shots lined up. That is totally fixed and totally solved with this one because you have this nice little flip up screen that now not only acts as a selfie screen, but even when the camera's detached, you can still see a live preview of whatever the camera's seeing up to, I think, about 30 feet, which is pretty good and really usable. And especially if you're gonna just shoot like this, where you need that little selfie screen, makes it really easy. The other improvement that this particular case brings to the table is the fact that now you have a touchscreen for being able to change all your settings, and the touchscreen works really well. It's easy to navigate and it responds to your touch just exactly like you would expect a touchscreen to. This camera, like any other camera, is just a tool, and having the right tool for the right job makes a big difference. For me, using this to capture behind the scenes shots or those really odd angle shots, oddball shots that you wouldn't be able to capture any other way, is really what makes this camera an amazing, incredible little camera. But it also really comes in handy when I want a little camera to be able to capture just some behind the scenes shots or something that's going on where I don't want to be really obvious. I've walked onto airplanes filming with a GoPro or with my phone to capture some of the scenes of like when I've been traveling and things like that. But it's pretty obvious right away to everybody that I'm filming as I'm getting on or off the airplane. Whereas with this, because it's so small and because there's no screen, I can just put it there, capture what I need to capture, and almost nobody's the wiser. It definitely isn't obvious that I'm filming with a camera. This camera and the accessories, like always, are linked in the description. Those are affiliate links and they help me do what I do. Next, you're gonna wanna check out this video right here. It'll walk you through some of the other action cameras that I've tested and compared. As always, if you have questions about this or something I didn't cover in the video, ask me in the comments below, or join my live stream, which happens Wednesday nights at 4 p.m. Alaska time, 8 p.m. Eastern, where we can have more of a conversation and maybe I can answer questions that I am not able to get to any other way. I'll see you again soon in the next video. Cheers.